Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the post fight on the mandatory. Remember, if you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the mandatory TKO. You can also follow us on our personal social media channels. And if you're watching this, you can obviously see it on the screen. I want to get to this comment, Brian. It's at AnGuy22. Thank you for dropping your comment and joining us tonight. He says, come on, guys, give Jake credit. His first 10 fights are more well known than any other first fights for any boxer. And Tommy beat him in a decision, yet you act like it was a blowout. I don't think we're acting like it was a blowout. And I don't think that. I think the thing is that when you think about Tommy Fury and you think about his eliteness, when you compare him to his brother, Tyson, it's not that good of a boxer. Right? That's just not what we're trying to say here. And of course, his first 10 fights are a lot well known than any other boxer, because when you're fighting, Nate Robinson that used to play in the NBA as your first fight, that's going to be known. Like, you're not even fighting a legit boxer at that point. Like, no disrespect to Nate. Loved him as a hooper. But I mean, you go through the resume. And listen, we're not hating on it. We just know that there has been a lot of cherry picking, right? And I think that's okay for Jake, because if Jake wants to do what he's doing, and listen, he's making the money, and there's a lot of great things that Jake does. He's a great businessman. He's super smart. He also, put women's boxing on a different type of level and platform. Like, I love that about him. I think he's great for that. But when I take a look at his resume, like, who's the most real boxer that he's fought? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. for sure, but Chavez Jr., like we've been saying, washed. Like, what did we see there? 39 years old. But that's better than fighting, a 50-year-old Mike Tyson, 50-something-year-old Mike Tyson, but yeah.
Tommy Fury, at one point, before he beat somebody who was 10-1, who had a bullshit resume, beat opponents who were combined 14, 175, and 5 with 6 knockouts. Like, what are we talking about here? Credit to Jake Paul for, like, his fights being famous, and credit to him for fighting, I guess, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. at near 40, past all the transgressions we laid out, 40 pounds above his weight class. Like, legitimately 40, years after he's peaked, like many years after he peaked very early. I mean, what are we talking about? Like, honestly, what are we actually talking about? Foxy, who's from out there, says Tommy Fury beating anyone is cause for concern. The worst.
Oh my god. But that was an entertaining fight, though. I like that fight between Tommy Fury and Jake Paul.
I thought Jake Paul was going to win that fight going.
I thought so too. I think I put money on Jake to win that fight. The one thing I will say is Jake has gotten better.
Are you sure?
I do think Jake has gotten better, and I think that we kind of saw him mix it up today.
Like, we don't know.
I think we don't know him against a top 15 fighter, a top 25 fighter, a guy that's very active, a guy that is in his age range. Of course, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is a little bit closer to his age, right? 11-year difference. So, there's some boxers that are like 39 years old. There's some boxers that are 40. But still, like, he's not fighting one of the top guys, and he's not fighting someone that's very active. These are all things that you have to look at when you take a look at that resume. And also when you're fighting former MMA guys that are now heading into the boxing ring, like, those sports are so different. And so it's really hard to judge the resume. And that's why, right, Brian, I think you're right. That's why you're like, has he gotten better? Do we know? That's why there are those questions. And that's the only knock. But other than that, great businessman. Puts on a great show. Does what he does. He looked massive in that ring. He should be a heavyweight.
Some people want to throw the S word around that ends with oids.
Is Vada gonna test him or what?
I don't know. I just
he's massive, Jake Paul.
Pause. I
Oh, okay, yes, yes. But I'm just saying, like, the dude looked so big in the ring.
if you'd like, let's go. Let's go to this because if we're just like,
Al the pal, thanks, Al. Donated to the show $10. What the fuck, my boo online? If anyone's wondering, Al always likes to give me Starbucks money. Thank you, Al.
you can fit this into just one page. It's amazing. So here's the esteemed resume. Anson, whatever, man. Nate Robinson, Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley twice because the first one was a split decision. Anderson Silva, which I thought was a pretty nice win. And I still think is one of his best wins. Tommy Fury, and then Nate Diaz, Andre August, whose resume was dog shit. I did a video on this for Action Network, just detailing like all the wins that he had, the long layoff, the fact that the fight was bullshit. Same thing with Ryan Borland. Like they found boxers with like some experience who just had absolutely padded records. And shout out to Jake Paul
But not
for
much activity, but they
getting them
weren't
the
as
fuck out of there.
active. This is
Yeah,
what I'm saying. They're not
right.
like very active in the ring.
And then Mike Perry, because we were supposed to get Mike Tyson, and then we do get Mike Tyson, who was almost 60 and he was in a wheelchair like shortly before that, and
Was
in the
walking
ring,
with a cane. Was walking with a cane, you guys.
walking with the cane, yeah, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. But like we don't know how good Jake Paul is. By the way, this was his second 10-round fight, and again, by the end of like round 3, round 4, you could see him just. But the other guy was like that too. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, don't ever do that again. You just say that he was winded. We don't need to see whatever you just did. That was weird.
Name a better first 10 resume. I mean, like
I hated the Mike Perry fight.
Richard Torres Jr. Like, I don't even have to name Vasily Lomachenko. Like, shit. Avius Griffin fought tonight. His resume might have been better the first 10 fights. Like, what are we talking about? Like, granted, look, if your point is this is what happens with other fighters, they just do it in a different way because they're fighting boxers who aren't popular, then okay. But we still don't know how good Jake Paul is. Just like for a lot of these dudes, we still don't know. Hell, I have questions about Floyd Schofield even after tonight, which we can get to.
Wait, I just want to get to this. Okay, so let's get back to and Guy 22. By the way, thank you for joining us. Even if we disagree, we love that we get these comments because it starts a discussion, right? Name a better first 10 resume. Like I just want to go through this resume. Like Nate Robinson, former NBA guy. Ben Askren, former MMA guy. Tyron Woodley, MMA guy, right? Anderson Silva, MMA guy. Tommy Fury, like as you heard, Foxy, who's from the UK, the worst British fighter of all time. Nate Diaz, former MMA guy. Andre August, like this is a guy that's not very active. And if you look at his resume, not the best. Ryan Borland, it's kind of the same thing. Mike Perry, former MMA guy. Mike Tyson, one of the best punchers of all time, but almost 60 years old. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. just got out of rehab not too long ago. Like what are like you know what I mean? Like come on, like not to be rude to his because Chavez Jr. legit boxer. That's why I was pissed off tonight. Because like this is not the Chavez Jr. that I remember, and of course he's not going to be. He's 39 years old now. He's been through a lot, but I just was expecting a little bit more, and that's why I came on here like just ripping the fight. But take a look at that. Like even Foxy said, Nate Robinson on the resume is insane. Yes,
I can give you plenty of fighters who I like. I just thought I'll just someone at random, right?
Hold on, Al the Pal donated to the show, and we don't care what the donation says. Your hair looked different. I might be drunk, or did you add a little razzle dazzle? I didn't actually do my hair today, so good to know that looks better when I don't do it. Thank you, Al.
Okay, all right, whatever. We're just like honestly, what are we talking about? Let's go to a random look. Here's a resume of somebody's first 10 fights.
Also, go to Teo's first 10 because Teo's first 10 is very good.
This is but that's a good example. I'm trying to give you just a regular example. This is Subriel Matias, who in his 5th pro fight fights someone who's 23-9, and is an 8-rounder and beats the shit out of him. Actually, he beat the shit out of all these dudes. All of these are knockouts within the first 4 rounds. This ends with Patrick Lopez and Dallas Prescott. I don't know what the Patrick Lopez or Dallas Prescott equivalent is for Jake Paul and in the cruiserweight division. I would surmise that person is better than this current iteration of an absolutely cooked Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's just one example. I can go to others. Like I can pull up like Albert Bell, whose resume was very lackluster the first 10 fights and frankly still is, but I'm sure there's not like a Nate Robinson on
But that's what I'm talking about. Like
there.
no disrespect to Nate. You know what I mean? Like I love Nate Robinson.
Yeah, give me an
And
autograph. Great.
right?
Look, here's Joseph Adorno, his 10th fight. He fights somebody who's 8-0, Kevin Cruz, who, was supposed to be a good prospect, and then he beats him. And otherwise, the wins aren't super impressive. But again, there's not like a Nate Robinson on here. There's not who's the first dude that's streamer? Anderson Gibb. I don't know who that is. Like I know some streamers. You know what I mean? I'm aware of Hassan Piker, for example. I don't know who this dude is. But
mm,
it's streaming is not streamers are not really like my bag. I know Kai Cenat. I know I Show Speed, obviously. I've heard of Aiden Ross. He
yeah.
seems like questionable. But anyway.
Um